Going live. How's that?
Yes.
Excellent.
Quite live. Yeah.
Excellent. Hello, everyone. Right, got the thumbnail on there. That's good. And that's ready to go. That's ready to go.
Lots of people in the chat room tonight.
Good.
Good to see.
It's lovely. There's absolutely no noise at all, background noise at all.
Mm. Well, Andy hasn't started speaking yet. So.
Oh, oh, oh,
Oh, oh, oh.
There's the noise of fridges clicking on and off in here, and that's all I've got in the background.
Yes.
Oh, dear. Oh, they got a really nice session ale brewed down at the local at the minute, Andy. You would absolutely love it. It's like a ruby ale. But it's
how strong is it?
It's only 4.8.
That's not a session. Great, that's extreme. That's strong for a session.
But it's so easy to drink. I could have a good session on it.
Yeah, that's great, but it's going to get you drunk from the legs up. That's great.
Yeah. Oh, the best bit is, Andy, it's £3.40 a pint.
That's very nice.
Oh, that's all right.
Yeah. One of their pints now in there is £3.70.
Ooh.
Quite expensive though. It's gone up.
God.
You want to go to London, mate?
Oh, that's half a pint in London, if they even serve half pints anymore. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I should go in Friday.
I think I can still get a pint around here for around £2.50.
Oh, with well, spoons?
No.
All right. Oh, out of your bar?
Oh, no. Sam Smith's pub down the hill. Nice and cheap.
Oh. I was going to say, go to Spoons and get a pint.
I draw the line somewhere.
Get a pint of Doom Bar. What I don't, as much as it's not a bad pint, but it's by no means a very nice ale.
Are you ready with the clock?
Yeah, I'm ready to hit it.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready to click the button on. I'm watching the clock now.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Right, I'm now going to click the button, and there we go. It is running. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
6, 5, 4, 3.
Hello and welcome to episode 571 of the Plain Talking UK podcast. I'm Carlos, and in this week's show, Play Airlines is no longer coming out to play. More geared turbofan problems for an A220 fleet, and Lufthansa Group expects to cut 4,000 jobs by the end of the decade as part of a strategic plan to consolidate operations and increase efficiency. In the military this week, a Battle of Britain Memorial Flight's Dakota ZA947 returns to RAF Coningsby after major maintenance, and the giant WindRunner cargo jet concept is shown off to the US Air Force. We'll also have part 3 of the fantastic interview with Alan Munro that Captain Nick very kindly conducted for us. And joining me this week from across the rivers, the fields, the glens, the dales of the UK, over in glorious Buckinghamshire, is of course Neville Bounds. Hello, Nev.
Pleased to be here. I wasn't sure that I was going to be here after yesterday's norovirus business, which took Sue and I out for just over 24 hours. Feeling a little bit better now, I have to say. But yes, I can't recommend it. Although, if weight loss is what you're after, it's fail-safe. Absolutely foolproof. Brilliant. But no, I'm feeling a bit better today, thank you very much. But no, it's been a hectic week with bits and pieces, although we've had to cancel a few things as well because we've not been able to get out of the house. But that's the way it goes sometimes. But that's the second lot in a year, by the way, because the last time I had it was when I was leaving the hospital with my broken ankle. It was in the end of November. So we don't want any more of that. Thank you very much.
Props guy in the chat room says snoravirus.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh dear, not good.
Anyway.
Well, at least you're with us tonight, Nev. That's the main thing.
Thank you.
You're with us tonight.
Yes.
Also joining us back again this week, it's our resident Airbus captain, training captain, sim everything. He knows all about the Airbus A320 and more. Is of course Andy. Hello, Captain Andy.
Hello. How are you?
I'm good. Good to see you back, Andy. Good to have you back.
It's good to be back. I watched last week from the luxury of an LNER train. It was very nice.
Yeah, we did see the pictures, but you also enjoying a nice beverage as well on the train, Andy.
Yes, I had several beverages on the train. It was a very pleasant ride back, yes. But I'm back this week, yeah. It's nice to be back. Still very, very busy at the moment, but not flying. There's too many other things happening.
You must miss it, be going all those glamorous destinations.
Or going there, having a quick look, and then coming immediately back.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I enjoy flying when I do go flying. It's nice not to do it all the time.
But obviously, talking shop, you obviously have to keep a few hours in the book. Is it each month or every so often you have to do at least 1 or 2 flights, or is that the rule?
Just 3 takeoff and landings every 90 days. That's the rule.
Ah, okay. All right. That's not too bad then. Not too bad then.
That's all right.
Well,
it's all good.
It's good. Well, we've got lots to get through on the show tonight. Matt he's at a meeting at the moment, actually. Or he wasn't at a meeting. He might have finished now about the certain radio station, but we'll move on with the show. It's Aviation we're here for, the glorious Aviation. We've got the second part, haven't we, Nev, of the interview, as we said, with Alan Munro, which is awesome. Very good series. That
Part 3, actually.
Part 3.
Yeah.
We've also got a retro airline ad of the week this week. Got a double bubble from American Airlines this week, which is really good. It's quite a nice one. We're going back to the 1970s this week, Nev.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Excellent. That's my era.
And I also managed as well. I thought I weren't going to do it this week because we had 2 on the bounce for the last 2 shows. But I did, whilst I was rummaging through the piles of retro ads, I found another really good BA retro ad from the early 80s that I'm going to pop on next week. So, yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Well, the way these other airlines are going bust, we'll have a load more to bring you from 2025 at this rate, won't we?
Yeah, definitely. Right, Nev, it is the beginning of the month, and we also always like to say a big thanks to some very special people, don't we?
Yes, as you may know, of course, in order to keep the show on the road, we need some funds from time to time, and we've got a whole load of people that help support us every month, and we're really grateful for all of that. You can donate by Patreon or by PayPal just by going to our website. And this month, the Patreon donators are Richard Adams, Derek Smith, Bill Aronek, Sam Dawson, Alex Robinson, Dirk S, Sasha Beer, Stephen Ivey, Nick Codling, Lewis Kajares, Alan White, Stephen Howland, Tanya Wyman, Nicholas Hewitt, Masha Hirtz, Ruben Wells, Neil Lamworn, Graham Haley, Jonathan Warner, Jordan Rose, Andrew Wilson, Captain Jeff, Adam Spink, Liz Piper, Jeff Ward, Stuart Backer, Stephanie Plummer and Carl S. in New Jersey. And the PayPal donations have come from Jennifer Parkinson and Mazuz Kareem. Thank you to one and all of you for your very generous donations. It makes a huge difference for us.
Yes, thank you very much indeed to everyone for your kind donations. As Nev said, it helps us to bring you the show each week. And yeah, And, well, we enjoy doing it. We love bringing you the show each week. We've got loads to get through. So, Nev, would you like to introduce the first part of the show? And I shall press a button.
Yes, and of course, we always start the show with the commercial section. And here we go.
The captain has turned on the seatbelt light. Please take your seats and fasten your seatbelts.
First story this week comes from aerotime.aero Iceland. It's Iceland Play Airlines. We all seen it on the news this week. Play's ceased operations, cancelling all flights. Icelandic low-cost carrier Play has, it's not having a great time right now. In a statement issued this week on the 29th, the board of Flyplay announced that the decision was made following a prolonged financial underperformance. It says here, poor ticket sales in recent weeks and internal discontent among staff following changes to the company's strategy. The airline introduced a revised business model in the fall of 2024, which management hoped would stabilise operations or return the carrier to growth. At the time, executives described the changes as a source of optimism for the company's future. In practice, the shift meant moving away from Play's initial transatlantic ambitions, which sought to replicate Icelandic's hub and spoke model out of Reykjavik, Keflavik International Airport. Instead, the carrier refocused on European and Canary Island routes, while scaling back its US network to just 3 cities: New York, Stewart, Boston, Logan, and Baltimore, Washington. As part of the restructuring, Play also returned its Icelandic Air Operator Certificate, AOC, moving operations to its Maltese subsidiary and shifting back to office functions with Malta and Lithuania. Despite the measures, the board admitted the turnaround plan was unable to overcome deep-rooted challenges that had built up over time, and in hindsight it said that the new strategy should have been implemented earlier. The collapse meant thousands of travellers would need to reorganise their return journeys, while around 400 employees will lose their jobs. And players acknowledged the broader impact on its business partners who face financial losses as a result of the shutdown. Play launched back in 2021 as an Icelandic-based successor to WOW Air, connecting Europe and North America through Reykjavik, Keflavik International Airport. The airline grew rapidly on transatlantic and European routes, but struggled to achieve sustainable profitability amid a rising competition and high operating costs. The carrier's grounding adds Play to the list of Icelandic low-cost ventures that have failed to secure long-term stability in a challenging market environment. Now, I was saying to Nev before we went on air that I still remember it in my head, us running the story on the show when the airline started back in 2021. And it was all, there was water cannon stuff, the salutes and everything went there, but it was a big thing when the airline started.
Yeah, I think it's always been a bit of a difficult operation because they're trying to do 2 things. They're trying to do some transatlantic routes out of Keflavik, as well as serving the European and the Canary Islands routes. And it must be quite difficult because that's 2 different business models if you think about it, isn't it? And I just don't know how they can do both successfully. And of course, they weren't going into the main New York airports either. So I think it's not an inevitability, but I think from a commercial point of view, with how competitive that North Atlantic route is anyway, very, very difficult to sustain a profitable operation, I would have thought.
The hub and spoke system in Iceland works for Iceland Air for several reasons. They use smaller aircraft from Europe, all pilot at the same time, and then load up onto much larger aircraft to fly to select proper cities, not these airfields outside in the States. And that works for them. And now the likes of Iceland Air are using A321 XLRs to go all the way across the other side to Seattle and places like that. Whereas if you're running one fleet type, you need to focus on one market and one type of customer as well. WOW was exactly the same airline as this. Same people set it up. Again, I don't understand why they bothered when WOW failed. But this has failed again now, and sadly it's put lots of people out of work, out of jobs once again. I do like some of the comments, though, at the moment. So play is now pause. Definitely paused for now. Well, forever, I think. I don't think we're going to see them come back. And I think the writing was on the wall when they moved out of Iceland and put everything into the Maltese AOC and then moved all their back offices to Lithuania, etc. It was all massively cost-cutting on an already very low-cost airline. Very sad, and I feel for all the people who've lost their jobs as well, but this airline was never going to survive in that market.
Did you cross paths with these guys, Andy, when you were in the various airports, on the ramp and stuff?
Well, I've seen the aircraft, only really up in Iceland.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't miss them. It's quite a standout kind of livery. Oh, it's a shame. I quite like the livery that Play had on their aircraft. Very bold red colour. Stood out quite well. But sad times. Nev, you have got the next story, and be interesting to see what Andy's thoughts were on this particular incident.
If only Matt was here, he could have done this Ryanair story, couldn't he? But anyway, it's on the dailystar.co.uk. It says that boozy Brit stag do yobs were dragged off a plane by armed cops after forcing it to make an emergency landing. Shocking social media footage shows the rowdy revellers being tackled by gun-wielding police officers after the Alicante-bound jet stopped in France. A video clip shared online shows police hauling off at least 6 men from the flight following a scrap on board after the rival groups had reportedly necked duty-free booze in the departure lounge at Luton Airport. Gendarmes were called after warnings from the cabin crew. They were seen removing the unruly passengers from the Ryanair flight in the viral footage, and the first 2 go quietly, but things get messy when they approach a muscular man in a baseball cap who refuses to stand up. I won't go into the expletives that they used, but he almost flies into passengers across the aisle as he barrels down off the seat, still clutching his hand luggage. Anyway, the story goes on, but a TikTok user who posted the video claimed that the men were part of 2 separate stag do's that were heavily boozed up and started fighting each other. They wrote, long story short, a couple of rowdy guys on a stag do decided to fight each other and ignore the cabin crew on multiple occasions to sit down. They should have not have been let on the plane in the first place. They were openly drinking duty free in the departure lounge and could barely stand up. A spokesman for Ryanair said, this flight from London Luton to Alicante on the 26th of September diverted to Toulouse after a small group of passengers became disruptive on board.
Oh dear.
Now, if you're going to have a diversion, have one into France, because the gendarmes don't muck about, in my experience.
Toulouse was always the place I ended up when I had people in this state on flights to Ibiza and places like that. So these guys know exactly what to do and know how to get them off. And as we've all seen from these videos, they don't mess about. Get the job done, get them off.
Yeah, I did. I was going to get the video to play out, but it would have took a lot of editing to play it out in the show. But there was, if you those you sent, there's plenty of versions of it on social media. Trust me, if you look on YouTube, you'll see it on there. But they were quite forceful, Andy, with their removal of the main sort of culprit of this.
They were, yes, and. Captain Cruz just asked there, would French police have jurisdiction over this case? Yes. So once the doors are closed and you're on your way, then it's covered by the laws of whichever country the aircraft is registered in. But once you're on the ground and the doors are open, it's local laws and rules. So yes, the French laws cover this case. But, if people are causing this sort of an issue on an aircraft, you've got to get rid of them. And unfortunately, these guys, Ryanair, do not mess about with this as well. They'll have a permanent ban, and they will chase them through the courts for the costs involved in this diversion, which will be in the tens of thousands of pounds.
Yeah. So I'm guessing you yourself as the captain would have made that call anyway to get down
Yep.
and get these people off, and And then I presume you once they're off, you can then close the doors and get back away if you've got time, if the time is available.
Top up the tanks as well. You'll have to top up because you've made an approach. So yeah, top off the tanks, get on your way.
Do you have to sort of talk to the company when you're doing this, or as the captain is the editor's decision final, as it were?
If you're in an area where it's diversion airfields that you don't normally operate into, then I'd probably send a message to company saying, look, which one would you prefer here? Because I want to be on the ground X amount of minutes. If they don't get back to us, then I'll make the decision. But places like around France, you just go and pick somewhere that you know, and you know you're going to get good service there. Toulouse was a base for us. It's not anymore, but we still operate in there. So yeah, you know everything's going to be fine.
There we go. That's the golden rule is don't get drunk and act like an idiot on an aircraft, because the gendarmes will come and see you and give you a big hug. Albeit a very rough
Absolutely.
one. Right, Andy, you've got the next story, and not surprising this. I knew AI would do it one day.
Yes, unfortunately, this is from flightglobal.com, and Lufthansa to axe 4,000 jobs as digitisation and AI supports tighter airline integration. Lufthansa Group expects to cut 4,000 jobs by the end of the decade as part of a strategic plan to consolidate operations and increase efficiency. The group intends to integrate its 5 network airlines, which are Lufthansa, Swiss, Austrian, Brussels Airlines and ITA, more closely adjusting their organisational structure. This will clarify responsibilities, promote collaboration and speed up decision-making processes, it states. Group-wide control of its overall network, including short and medium-haul services, will increase productivity and efficiency, it adds. The company aims to introduce more than 230 new aircraft, including 100 long-haul airframes, by 2030. God, that's only in 5 years. That's quite impressive. But points out that the current delays in aircraft supply is having a positive impact on average yields and capacity utilisation. Lufthansa Group, which outlined the plans ahead of the 29th of September capital markets event, says the company is continuing to implement existing transformation programmes and is also rapidly integrating ITA following its investment in the Italian carrier. But it acknowledges that the tightening of cooperation between group companies will lead to significant changes in processes, particularly as a result of digitisation and the increasing use of artificial intelligence. Lufthansa Group is reviewing which activities will no longer be necessary in the future, owing to, for example, duplication of work, it states. It expects to eliminate 4,000 jobs worldwide by 2030, most of which will be in Germany, with the losses focused on administrative rather than operational roles. Lufthansa Group has set new medium-term financial targets intended to exceed prior performance and generate sustainably attractive returns for its shareholders. Over the course of 2028 to 2030, it's looking to achieve an adjusted EBIT margin of 8 to 10%, an adjusted return on capital of 15 to 20% before tax, and an adjusted free cash flow of more than 2.5 billion euros per year. Financial strength will continue to be the basis for achieving the financial targets, says the group, adding that it will maintain a conservative minimum liquidity of 8 to 10 billion euros. Along with its networks, the group plans to concentrate on point-to-point services through its Eurowings leisure division, which is undergoing a fleet renewal with Boeing 737 MAX jets, as well as maintenance and freight operations with Lufthansa Technik and Lufthansa Cargo. Well, it's a bit of a bean counter job, and AI is helping them, really, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yes, the bean counters will be loving this, won't they? The spreadsheet will be out, and they go, look, these are the savings we can make over the next 5 to 10 year period, and it's fine. You know, it's a lot. No?
Yeah, I find it sad that in the modern world, making a modest profit, distributing a bit to the shareholders, and keeping everybody in jobs seems to be not the target anymore. It's make as much money as you possibly can, which makes no sense to me. Maybe I'm just too old-fashioned.
It's the jobs people's jobs that I
exactly.
worry about within the industry, not just the pilots and crews. It's all the rest of the jobs. What other jobs are going to take away from people because you've already got these tugs, haven't you? The the AI or remote controlled tugs and all that kind of stuff. There's going to be a time when lots of parts of the ground handling system are going to be done by either AI or computer controlled things. But at the end of the day,
Yep.
I'll tell you what, you always need a human to do stuff right.
But how many?
Correctly.
That's the problem.
Yeah, exactly. Right, moving on to the next one. And sad times if you're a fan of the A220. Air Austral, or Austral? That's how you pronounce it. I don't know. Air Austral abandons the Airbus A220 fleet over geared turbofan problems. African regional airline Air Austral has announced it will retire its fleet of Airbus A220-300s after persistent technical problems with the Pratt & Whitney PW1500G geared turbofan engine. Decision comes 4 years after the recurring reliability issues with two of the engines, or to airlines, 3 A220s that are currently grounded. I'm going to pop the picture up on the screen for those of you watching the world of YouTube there. Given the technical problems they're experiencing with the medium haul fleet, we believe we have no other choice, and it's forced choice, than to try and evolve toward a new module in order to stabilise the company, Air Austral Chairman Hughes Marshall says. Pratt & Whitney initiated an inspection program for its geared turbofan engines back in 2023 after discovering defects linked to contaminated powdered metal used in manufacturing. The issue, which can cause corrosion and cracking, has affected the airlines worldwide, forcing lengthy engine inspections and repairs. And there's been other durability issues as well with the geared turbofan, which have particularly affected those carriers operating in hotter climates. Based on the French Overseas Department of Reunion, Air Austral was the first carrier in the Indian Ocean region to introduce the A220, receiving its first aircraft back in 2021. The aircraft were primarily deployed on short to medium haul routes to Madagascar, Mauritius and South Africa. Air Austral is not the first airline to give up on the A220s. Egypt Air abandoned the type, selling its 12-strong fleet to lesser Air Azora back in 2024. Azora founder and CEO John Evans recalled this speculative deal back in 2023 to acquire the remarketed 12X Egypt Air 220s. He labelled it an unusual four-way transaction between Airbus, Azora, Egypt Air and Pratt. Those were new technology aircraft operating in very difficult environments. They never really seemed to be a great fit, Evans told Aviation Week back in 2024. Despite the setback, Air Austral will continue to operate its wide-body fleet of 777-300ERs and two 787-8s, which serve long-haul routes to mainland France and Asia. Now, I was just saying to Nev before we went on air earlier that I saw a report online that there was a 5-year-old A220 over at St Athan waiting to be scrapped and parted. 5-year-old airframe.
So what's the A220?
Hello.
The A220, that's not the one that we saw at Farnborough, is it?
It is. Yeah.
It is that aircraft. Wow. Okay. Because you've been on one, haven't you, Nev? You've had a couple of flights on there, and you said they were quite nice.
Well, I haven't actually flown on one yet, but in 2016, Al and I did an interview with, I think it was with Airbus actually on the A220, and obviously the prospects for it. I mean, nothing wrong with the airframe at all, but it's these Pratt & Whitney geared turbofan engines that are the problem, especially in these sort of hot and dusty environments. It would seem.
And humid and sea salty and it's not good for them. It doesn't say it in the article, but I do believe they're replacing them with A320s. So win-win.
Oh, right, okay.
And did you know Air Austral also runs the longest domestic flight in the world?
Oh, does it?
Oh, really?
Yes, because Charles de Gaulle Orly, where they fly from, down to Reunion, it's France to France. It's classed as a domestic flight.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Strange. Must be a long. Is that in the 320?
No, 777.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's a very, very long flight.
Oh, yeah. I did say to Nev earlier, Andy, that they should have stuck with the CFM 56s on these aircraft. Wang a couple of those on, tried and tested.
Yeah, but it sits too low. You can't fit one of those under the wing.
Oh yeah. That probably would be an issue, wouldn't it?
And the 56 is all technology now.
Yeah. Could try and put one of the Trent 900s on there. Can you imagine that? That'd be like the new 757.
It sits way too low for the Trent under that wing.
If you think about the the sort of financial implications for this, when you've got aircraft grounded or you've got sort of on-wing unreliability and this sort of stuff, it's a huge cost to the airline to do that. And even if they are replacing them with A320s, that's quite a big move. I was going to ask you, Andy, in terms of cross-crew qualification, is it just a relatively simple upgrade for the crews to go from a 220 to a 320, or is that a completely new?
No, it's a full type rating. Because this was originally a Bombardier aircraft, which Airbus bought, so there's no cross commonality between flight decks in terms of type certification. So yeah, it's a full type rating.
Gotcha.
So that's 2 weeks of ground school, 3 weeks in the sim, and then all of the line training required as well. So it's quite a big chunk. But like you were saying there, Nev, they must be hemorrhaging money to be willing to bin an entire fleet.
That's just crazy, especially with the airframes as low time as what these are.
Because they're not old airframes, are they? That's
no.
That's the issue, isn't it? Yeah. But I mean, and forgive me, this is the naivety of the one who doesn't know much about planes here. But is it not just as simple as putting a different engine on it?
No, not at all. No. So again, you'd have to recertify the type. You'd have to go through all of the flight test certification again. Different engines require different plumbing for different things. That's a very big job to do.
Okay.
God, so it must be cheaper to bin the aircraft off than to go through all that then, Andy.
Which seems bonkers, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But
mad.
Well, that's down to Airbus to decide to try and change the engine. An airline can't do that. It's down to the original equipment manufacturer.
Do you think there's a chance if you get a few more people doing essentially what we're talking about in this story, do you think there's a chance they might look at that if it looks like suddenly loads of people are jettisoning in an or do you think they'll just think the time is done with it and, as you say, go down the 320 route or?
Possibly, or Airbus may decide to just bin the type altogether and then use the capacity they got from buying that from Bombardier to make more of their own airframes. So who knows? And as I can't remember if I mentioned, Airbus are looking at the A360 now as well, a full clean sheet narrow body airframe. So they could just pivot towards that instead and just stick to their contractual requirements for the ones that are still flying of these aircraft until the time comes where they can pull the type cert as well. Who knows?
Darren Smith in the chat room says, when I went to Riga last, there are about 3 Air Baltic A220s, all without engines. Yeah, surprised he hadn't ended up at Norwich, to be fair, because that seems to be a dumping ground for aircraft without engines. There's quite a number of them sitting there at the end of the runway there at Norwich. Nev, you've got the next story, and with obviously premium economy becoming even more popular now. I was reading a report the other day saying that people are now very much spending that extra few £100 to travel in the better seats. This one's for you, Nev.
Yeah, and there's some quite good premium economy offerings, I must say. This is on aviationatoz.com. And it says that premium economy has become a vital cabin for travellers who want more than standard economy but don't quite need the full luxury of business class. In 2025, Skytrax recognised that the very best premium economy seats are available worldwide, those that deliver extra space, clever design and thoughtful features that make long-haul flying much more comfortable. From wide recliners with leg rests to upgraded entertainment screens and better privacy, these seats are carefully crafted to make hours in the sky easier. Whether you're on a transatlantic hop or an ultra-long haul to Australia or a trip across Asia, the airlines below that I'm going to mention have redefined what premium economy really means. And here's the top 10, showcasing the carriers offering the finest balance between comfort, practicality and style in the growing cabin. Well, Emirates is at number one, and their premium economy seats, introduced relatively recently, have already earned top honours in 2025. The Dubai carrier fitted its newest A380s and 777s with a premium economy product that feels far closer to business class than economy. The cream leather seats are wide, well cushioned and reclined generously, complete with leg rests and adjustable headrests for proper rest on long haul journeys. A standout is the 13.3-inch high definition screen, one of the largest in the class, offering Emirates' ICE entertainment system. The cabin also feels elegant with wood grain finishes and a quiet, spacious layout. Over to Japan Airlines. Well, they've mastered premium economy with seats that are amongst the most spacious in the industry. The airline's award-winning Sky Premium seats feature a fixed back shell design, meaning passengers can recline without disturbing those behind them. Width and legroom are notably generous, with padded leg rests and ample recline to keep long-haul flights comfortable. Each seat includes a wide table, power outlets and large entertainment screens, making the cabin practical for both work and relaxation. Amenities such as noise-cancelling headphones and premium blankets enhance the comfort further. Virgin Atlantic's premium economy is a pioneer in the industry, continues to impress with some of the best designed seats. The cabin feels distinctly different from economy, offering wider recliners with generous pitch, adjustable footrests and deeper recline. Each seat comes with a large screen for in-flight entertainment, whilst padded leather upholstery makes the product feel stylish and premium. One of Virgin's strengths is its consistency across the fleet, particularly on long-haul routes to the US and the Caribbean. Singapore Airlines premium economy seats are crafted with long-haul comfort in mind, particularly for ultra-long services such as Singapore to Newark or Singapore to Los Angeles. The seats are wider than average, with calf rests, footrests and an 8-inch recline that allows for genuine rest. Each seat has a personal reading light, storage compartments and a large high-definition screen paired with noise-cancelling headphones. The airline's meticulous design even extends to ergonomics, ensuring good posture for extended flights. Well, Delta's premium select seats have helped raise the bar for US carriers in this cabin. The seats are wide with deep recline, adjustable headrests and substantial leg rests. They're designed to deliver real rest on transatlantic and trans-Pacific flights. Leather upholstery and smart finishes give the cabin a sleek look, whilst 13-inch screens provide one of the best entertainment setups in the category. Delta also supplies premium economy bedding and amenity kits, blurring the line between premium economy and business. Cathay Pacific offers a thoughtful premium economy seat tailored to long-haul routes between Hong Kong, North America and Europe. The seats are wider than economy, with an extra 6 inches of recline, plus leg rests and adjustable headrests. A key feature is the spacious 38-inch seat pitch, which gives passengers plenty of legroom even when the seat in front is reclined. Large tray tables and USB power ports make working on board practical, whilst 12-inch screens provide excellent entertainment options. The cabin itself is designed to feel calmer, with a smaller, more intimate layout. Air New Zealand built a reputation for creativity, and its premium economy seats are no exception. The airline's space seat design, available on some aircraft, provides a shell-style layout with exceptional personal space and privacy. Even on non-space seat cabins, premium economy offers wide recliners with generous legroom and comfortable cushioning. The seats are upholstered in leather with features like footrests and adjustable headrests to enhance comfort. Entertainment is provided on large touchscreens loaded with film, TV and New Zealand-inspired content. Qantas has designed its premium economy seating to suit ultra-long flights from Australia to destinations in Europe and North America. The seats are sculpted for ergonomic comfort with generous recline, adjustable leg rests and extra width compared to economy. Upholstered in premium materials, the seating is paired with large entertainment screens and well-placed storage. The cabin feels more exclusive with fewer rows and attentive service, creating a calmer environment. Lufthansa offers a solid premium economy product with seats that focus on comfort and practicality. The German airline provides seats with a generous 38-inch pitch, more recline than standard economy, and wide armrests to ensure personal space. The seats are fitted with large tray tables, good for both meals and working on laptops. The entertainment screens are crisp and responsive. Passengers are also given amenity kits, noise-cancelling headphones and upgraded blankets. The cabin layout helps create a quieter environment with fewer passengers than in the economy section. And finally, British Airways World Traveller Plus seating continues to perform strongly, particularly on busy transatlantic routes. The seats are wider with more recline than economy, complemented by footrests and adjustable headrests for improved comfort. Entertainment screens are larger and sharper, loaded with films, series and music for long-haul journeys. The cabin itself is smaller, giving a sense of calm away from the bustle of economy. Passengers also receive upgraded dining, complimentary drinks and amenities such as pillows and blankets. Priority check-in and boarding add convenience on the ground. That's quite a good selection of premium economy there, I'd thought. And it certainly fits well with a lot of people's budgets as well. It's a big jump to go from economy to business from a monetary point of view, isn't it?
Have you done much premium economy, Nev?
I have previously, yeah. I was on some routes to Portland when I used to fly there. We used to fly premium economy. I've done a couple to South Africa back in the day as well.
And is it enough? If you, I mean, obviously you're paying a premium for that, but if you compare that directly with like the economy product, and you're doing, well, I mean, you're talking some pretty long routes there with your things like South Africa and stuff like that. I mean, is the extras it gives you worth it as far as you're concerned?
It is, yeah. I think the difference between economy and premium economy is definitely worth it, which is why people will go the extra mile to do that. Ultimately, the business class offering is good, but if you can't afford that, or you don't want to afford that, then I think the premium economy offering is very good.
I have to say, I'll put that on the screen again for those watching in YouTube. You can see why Emirates are just, honestly, the level with their seating there.
It's a different world, isn't it?
It's just a different world. The cabin just looks so good.
As a very big chap, there's no two, I can't hide from that. But even in the economy seat going out to Dubai from Heathrow, I was very comfortable. And I had plenty of leg room, and that was just in ordinary economy. Admittedly, I had an end of aisle seat, so if, purely because on the grounds that I might need to sort of shift out of the way a bit. But I was genuinely pleasantly surprised at how good even the economy product was. So I'd love to try the premium economy just to see how it fares.
Darren Smith in the chat room says that it looks like a BizJet. I suppose it does, doesn't it? When you look at that interior of those seats, that sort of cream leather, it does remind you of a sort of a BizJet look. But
I don't know how they keep them clean.
No, the only one I've tried out of all those is, funny enough, Nev is BA. I've tried Nev's.
Yes, we were on going out to Dubai,
wasn't it?
On the 350. Yeah.
And they are. That is a nice product. The BA's premium economy is a good step up from economy. And one of the bits I did like was the footrest. I did like having that footrest. It just adds a bit more comfort, because I do like putting my feet up when I'm laying back. But I think going forward, me and Gemma need to go back to Dubai at some point and try and get Emirates premium economy just to try it once, even if it is just for one, there, or coming back. But right, Matt. Are you right to do one, or
bear with me? Yeah.
Matt, I've chosen a story for you, Matt, this week. This is quite good news, and a little backstory. A few weeks ago, I actually cancelled this myself, and within 24 hours, I'd repurchased this particular product from YouTube, because I tell you what, for anyone who doesn't have this and has has to watch the ads, There's so many adverts. Oh,
You
Yeah.
watch too much YouTube if you can justify paying for this.
I know. I
It's the
don't. I
music-
think it's
the
a
music
lot
as
of
well,
money.
to be fair, it's the
Yeah.
music as well. I do utilise in the car the music section of this as
Yes,
well.
I know, but you could go to Amazon and have it for $8.99 as you don't like Apple. But anyway, by the by, Delta flyers to get YouTube Premium as airline expands in-flight entertainment deals. So Delta Airlines passengers are about to get a new perk. The carrier is teaming with YouTube to stream premium content on board, giving travellers ad-free videos, playlists, and podcasts mid-air, according to Dexato. The multi-year partnership covers more than 930 aircraft and includes access through seatback screens or personal devices via Delta Sync Wi-Fi. SkyMiles members will also score a 14-day free trial starting from the 1st of October. The rollout features a lineup of top YouTube names. Flyers can dive into Mr. Beast's wild challenges.
P2K.
Chef Nick Giovanni's Di Giovanni. Oh, put my teeth in. Try that again. Anyway, some cooking videos essentially. Motivational talks from podcaster Mel Robbins. These are all mentioning people other than Mr. Beast I've never heard of. And even family content from the Mother Goose Club. Yeah, I bet you watch a lot of that, Andy, right? The look. Delta also added a personal touch, a custom YouTube music playlist curated by its own flight attendants, which will play during boarding. It's part of the airline's push to make takeoff less stressful and more engaging. Julietta McCurry, Delta's VP of In-Flight Entertainment and Connectivity, told Dexato that the decision was a no-brainer. This partnership was born from a simple but powerful insight. Our customers love YouTube. Delta and YouTube are uniquely positioned to deliver an unmatched customer experience. YouTube's VP of Product Partnerships, Miguel Quiroga, told the Hollywood Reporter that the collaboration just makes sense. Think about what Delta is all about, which is providing an amazing experience as they take travellers around the world. And from a YouTube perspective, we're really focused on bringing the best of the world to our users through quality content, he said. I'm a bit meh about this.
I suppose it's good. I don't know. Good advertising if you want to advertise the fact that premium is.
I genuinely don't use YouTube enough for me to warrant spending a terror. But it's like £16 a month or something stupid,
Something
isn't it?
like that, yeah.
A terrifying amount of money.
I honestly, when I cancelled it a few weeks ago now, and I went to watch, because I watched a car restoration series on YouTube.
Right.
I love it. Absolutely love it. It's normally about an hour or 2 hours long where the guy's restoring, and literally every 5 minutes there was an ad advertising something I didn't want, or didn't even care about. And it frustrated me so much that I literally got my phone and went, right, subscribe and to the premium. Done it. That was it.
I have to say, I think you're probably in a bit of a minority there, Carlos, because I think it's.
Oh, Jonathan Warner has.
But well, I suppose. I mean, again, it's one of those. It's just like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'd be interested to see what the experience would be like doing it on there. Through the in-flight Wi-Fi. Are they caching a lot of the video so you've only got access to certain parts of the library, or? There's lots of things that would concern me a little bit about this, I suppose.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it's going to be the whole of YouTube, is it? At the end of the day,
they need to just focus on the Plain Talking UK podcast and part of YouTube for the flight. That's my thought.
Okay,
anyway.
I mean, sure.
That's what they need to do. There we go.
Right. Okay. Worth an ask. What about you, Andy? What do you think about?
I just use an ad blocker, but that works for me.
Is that what I tried, Dan? It didn't work.
See, I've got an ad blocker from many years ago that I've never changed, and YouTube have never got onto it.
You didn't hear that?
That works fine for me. No, didn't hear that on YouTube. But again, I don't have time to watch YouTube. The longest I spend on YouTube a week is on a Wednesday night with you guys, and I'm not watching it.
No, true that.
Yeah, it's just not something I spend a lot of time on, to be honest.
No.
Anyway, right, Andy, you've got the next story. Interesting to hear
Yes.
your thoughts on this as well, being it's an aircraft that you fly.
Yes, an aircraft I know very well, unfortunately. PaddleYourOwnCanoe.com. Delta Airlines reveals it has been replacing auxiliary power units on Airbus jets linked to alarming toxic fume incidents. Delta Airlines has confirmed that it's replacing hundreds of APUs on Airbus A320 aircraft that have been linked with a shocking rise in so-called fume events that have sickened crew members and passengers. The Atlanta-based airline started the replacement program in 2022, but has only now publicly confirmed the upgrade program following an investigation by the Wall Street Journal. Delta operates 310 single-aisle Airbus A320 aircraft, and the airline has refitted 90% of its older aircraft with the newer APUs. Campaigners and attorneys acting on behalf of victims of what are sometimes referred to as toxic fume events claim the APU on Airbus A320 aircraft has a known design flaw that increases the risk of cabin air becoming contaminated with dangerous pollutants such as engine oil. Like many aircraft, the Airbus A320 family of aircraft uses a a bleed air system to feed a fresh supply of air into the passenger cabin. The system draws in compressed air from the engine and, after being cooled through the air conditioning system, is pumped straight into the cabin. Because the air is fed through the engines, it becomes contaminated with engine oils and lubricants that vaporize on a hot engine. Okay. This can occur through the two main engines as well as the APU if it's being used on the ground to supply power to the aircraft. In fact, the APU on the Airbus A320 series might be even more prone to fume events because the inlet to the APU is on the rear belly of the aircraft and close to two major sources of oil leakage. Older APUs are also more susceptible to a fume event, so replacing these units with newer APUs will mitigate that risk, but not the risk of oil leaking into the vent. While airlines and manufacturers acknowledge that fume events can be disconcerting, they insist that the vast majority of people who are caught up in one of these incidents will only experience short-term, non-serious issues such as headaches and runny eyes. There are, however, numerous cases of victims suffering permanent and serious injury following a fume event. Okay, so in normal circumstances, the bleed air system does not touch any part of the engine that contains oil and lubricants and stuff like that. It's only if seals, as they start to wear and fail, does some of these things creep in sometimes. So, but that's not a normal thing. It's a part of aging. And I don't know where these two sources of oil leakage are on the rear of the aircraft that it talks about. I don't get that. Fume events do happen. They happen all the time, unfortunately. There's recently been talk about the LEAP engines as well. There's a fusible system on that called the load reduction device that can cause fume events as well. And it's nothing new, really. But, this happens, basically.
And also not just for those aircraft. Remember the 146s and 757s had similar problems, and there's all sorts of lawsuits and what have you going on, probably still today, about some of those too.
It happens anyway. Anywhere you're heating air, you have the risk of contaminants getting into that air. Simple as that.
We've all been on a flight at some point in time, haven't we, Nev, and smelt a smell that we didn't really,
Yeah, that's something entirely different now.
Well, in the winter, for instance, if you de-ice an aircraft, you can sometimes get de-icing fluid that gets into the inlets, and you can get a smell and sometimes a bit of fog. Quite often, you can smell jet exhaust from other aircraft nearby.
I quite like
that gets sucked up in the system. Yeah, that's another thing. Also, if using APU bleed with engines running, you can get the same smell as well because it draws it in from behind the aircraft. So yeah, there's lots of things. Unfortunately, some people have been hit pretty hard by some of these things. Again, it's just the way it goes, sadly.
And the smell of Jet A1 is lovely, I think.
Actual Jet A1 just smells like diesel. The exhaust of it is beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah.
And of course, the A319 that touched down slightly beyond the touchdown zone at Jersey, Carlos, there was a different smell altogether from the brakes.
Oh,
If I remember correctly.
yeah. That's slightly less of a nice smell.
Yeah.
Yes, the smell of burning carbon is not the nicest smell.
Less
And
exciting
burning
somehow.
underwear.
Yeah, soiled underwear. I think more.
Yes.
Yeah. Nev nearly spilled his Pinot, honestly.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
And that is a crime.
That is
There's
a
no
crime.
two ways about that.
That's a
Yeah.
crime. But yeah, I do remember that day very well indeed. Right, next story comes to us from bbc.co.uk. For those of you who utilise the Flight Radar 24 app, will know that you can have notifications set up when things go a bit wrong. So when you get the squawk codes that get sent out by aircraft when they're in trouble, you get a text come up on your phone, tells you what's going on. But this was one that popped up on my phone actually when this happened. Passengers in shock after a bird strike causes a jet to divert. A holiday maker on his way to Cyprus described being in shock after the pilot announced the diversion to Birmingham. Oh, there you go then. Due to engine failure.
Nothing wrong with Birmingham.
After a normal takeoff from Cardiff Airport, Dave Priest, 56, I don't quite know why we have to know he's 56, but anyway.
Very important
said that
information.
Passengers felt a vibration, heard a rumble from the left-hand side of the aircraft, followed by a burning smell. Oh, here we go again. There was silence, people looking at each other, thinking, what was going on here, he said. After the plane landed safely back at Birmingham, Gemma's trying to video call me, don't quite know why. There was after the plane landed safely at Birmingham, operator TUI confirmed there was no engine failure, and the reason for the diversion was a bird strike after takeoff. The 737 TOM 6754 was climbing when the incident happened at about 4:30 British Standard Time. The holiday jet initially circled Swansea Bay around 3,000 feet before climbing and heading towards the West Midlands. Mr. Priest said passengers noticed Tata Steel in the windows and wondered even more about what was happening. I mean, blimey, I suppose, yeah. If I saw a Burger King out the window, I'd be worried, I suppose. He said the captain made an announcement that the aircraft had experienced an engine failure and that was diverted to Birmingham. The aircraft burned off fuel in a series of orbits before landing at Birmingham Airport, where passengers and crew disembarked safely. The aircraft was met on the runway by 4 fire appliances and other emergency vehicles, causing some delays at Birmingham before it was able to taxi to a stand. A TUI spokesperson said that there was no engine failure, it was a bird strike on takeoff, and it had followed the diversion, and it's a precautionary routine procedure. So there we go. I've got the screen grabs here of said event for those of you watching in YouTube here. Andy will know what all these kind of things will mean here. Obviously, the aircraft doing orbits around. There we go. There's one as it was just off from Birmingham there, Andy. I think hopefully you can see that.
I can't see it, mate.
Well, you can't see that. Okay. It is on YouTube, trust me. And there's one more there as well, showing the aircraft as in en route there. Yeah. Engine failure, bird strike. I suppose that would be compressor stall or something, Andy, and then the engine shut down. Fuel
No,
cut
this
off.
engine wasn't shut down.
It wasn't shut down.
No, they've just had a bird strike, and they've decided, looking at the parameters, that they don't want to continue, but the engine's still operating. And they probably thought the best place to go for engineering support was not Cardiff, and it was to Birmingham. And they can always, en route, if the engine starts to play up, just shut it down. And that's it. Job done. And carry on one, and go and land. And they probably had spare aircraft in Birmingham as well to carry on the journey.
I remember
With another crew.
I remember a certain someone on this call who had an engine failure on takeoff. Nev, in a sim.
Oh yes, that's an entirely different matter, though, isn't it? Really?
But that wasn't bird ingestion, though, was it? No, at the time.
No, but it certainly concentrates the mind or the foot, actually. Yeah,
Certainly does on takeoff. It's much easier with the autopilot on once you're airborne. That takes up the slack.
yeah.
Does the job for you.
Have you had it happen to you before, Andy? Before we move on, have you ever
I've had
Chocolate
plenty of
coffee
bird
birds?
strikes. Yeah, I've had plenty of bird strikes. I've had one go in the engine as well. There was a little blip in power, then everything was normal. Bit like, which Bond film is it? Is it Living? No, View to a Kill, where that fella goes through the turbine. You see the gauges bounce down a bit, and then they go back to normal. It's much like that.
Lovely. Yeah. Munch.
Yeah. But then, if the other parameters, such as the EGT, are looking a bit high, there might be bits of it stuck in the back, so it's best just to go somewhere else. But like I said, if you can keep it running, then do, because what's the harm? You've got the power then.
Well, the next story is all yours, Andy. And this is something that's hit the news a few times in the last week, I noticed.
Yes. This is from United24media.com. Sweden sends anti-drone systems and radars to Denmark amid growing airport drone threat. Sweden will provide Denmark with radar units and military-grade anti-drone systems in the wake of recent drone incursions that forced the closure of several Danish airports. Swedish Prime Minister Ulf Kristersson announced on September the 29th, Reuters reported. The move comes as Copenhagen prepares to host two high-level gatherings this week, an EU Leaders Summit on October the 1st, that's today, and meeting of the 47-member European political community on October the 2nd. According to Reuters, Denmark has already stepped up security around the events following a series of drone incidents that disrupted air traffic at 6 airports last week, including Copenhagen Airport, the busiest in the Nordic region. The Prime Minister described the incidents as a hybrid attack against her country. Writing on X, Kristersson said Sweden would deploy counter-UAS, or unmanned aircraft systems, to Denmark alongside a handful of radar systems that were delivered on Sunday. He emphasised that Sweden stands ready to support its neighbour in safeguarding critical infrastructure and ensuring the security of upcoming European summits. In a separate development, during the early hours of September the 29th, the Danish Air Force deployed fighter jets over the Baltic Sea amid reports of possible drone activity. According to the police, the jets were scrambled after numerous residents reported unusual objects in the sky. A duty officer with the Bornholm Police Department confirmed that the aircraft flew over the island in one direction before circling back. Although Denmark's armed forces have not issued an official statement on the incident, the military continues to monitor the country's airspace and gather intelligence on potential drones to protect national security and maritime infrastructure.
Ouch. Mm-hmm. I thought there was this thing called, in this country called geofencing with drones, where they can... Is that not?
Yeah.
Is that not a?
Yeah, it is very much a thing. Yeah.
I mean, yes, in this country, yes, for your little drones and commercial drones and stuff like that, but military grade stuff, will do nothing. It's going to go straight through. No problem.
Wow. Have you still got your drone, mate? You still got your little...
I have, yeah, very much so. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it wanders off to the left or right for some reason. It doesn't seem to matter how much I adjust the... I think what wanders off to the left, I think, because we flew it in your unit.
Oh, in the unit,
back yeah. And as I say, for some reason, it wandered off to the left, and no matter of twiddling the trim would deal with it. So I don't know whether I've got a dodgy blade or something on there somewhere.
I must admit, I've sort of spoken to Richard Flagg. I'm going to book a little, probably a weekend hour or two meet up with Richard, because he's obviously he's got himself a brand new shiny DJI. So I'm hoping to go and have a little play with that, because I would like to to fly one of these expensive. I'm going to get scared now flying one of these expensive drones and end up. But I think he says they're easy. He says it's easy once you get the hang of it.
Yeah, I mean, mine's as easy as... I mean, they more or less fly themselves. This is the thing, isn't it? That's the whole point about the drone, isn't it? There's not really any... Not like flying like a radio-controlled helicopter, or the older ones, certainly, or like an actual plane. I mean, they you press a button and it lifts off, and it'll just sit there until you tell it to do something. So they're pretty straightforward, and the DJI ones are absolutely incredible.
Have you ever thought about having a go, Nev? Obviously, we were at the drone summit a year or two ago over in Dublin. Is that something you'd like to have a go at yourself?
Do you know what? It's strange. I've got very little, I'm not going to say interest, but no real desire to do that kind of stuff. I don't know why. You'd think I would.
Yeah, I'd have thought you'd
I like
liked
watching
it.
other people doing it. I like going to shows where they show the technology. In fact, Richard Flagg's company has got an event later in October in Ascot, which I'll be popping down to as well, where they
Love
show off their latest wares and that kind of thing. But actually, yeah, do you know what? It's not really my thing, which is, I realise.
I'm genuinely astounded by that, Nev, because it seems like the perfect marriage of your love of both forms of AV.
Yes, yeah, you'd think so, wouldn't you? But,
Yeah. Andy, I know you've done a little bit of drone flying, haven't you?
Yes, I also instruct on drones as well. How to fly them. Yeah. So yes, I've done a fair bit. It's only light stuff like DJI Mavics and stuff like that. But they're great fun, aren't they?
They are.
The auto stabilization of those things is just awesome as well.
Yeah. No, they really are. They're brilliant. As I say, they are ever so easy to fly.
It's just the cost thing. You know, I just worry. When you're paying a lot of money for these things, you only got to put it into the ground once. I mean, how resilient are these things when
you've got to be fair, I think so. I mean, I don't know, perhaps Andy will disagree with me, but you've got to work pretty hard to basically stack it into the ground and break it.
Oh yeah,
because there is so much like automation in them that you've got to do something really quite catastrophic to plow it into the ground, because they will basically take off and land on their own. I mean,
yeah, some have the function where you just press the button and it'll take off. Then you press it.
Yeah,
again
mine
to
is
auto land.
Yeah, mine's the same. You literally press a button, it'll take off, and it'll hover at a certain height, and then it'll literally take off, and then you decide whether you want to go up, left, right, or whatever. But it'll basically come up to around about head height, and then just sit there.
Yeah,
I'm very clever.
They are very clever.
I'm looking forward to having a go.
I
looking
bet.
forward to having a go. Yeah,
but don't do what my friend did and buy one off a Chinese website, which I won't name.
Does it begin with a T by any chance?
Yes, it does. The first time he launched it took off. It hovered. It was like, yeah, this is great. It went up a little bit further and then just disappeared off the top of houses.
Yeah.
Yeah. Zero control.
Well, no, you know why? Because essentially, as soon as it had taken off, it was then off to go and deal with the mission that it had been given before it left.
Yes, that's right. He never saw
it again. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yep.
Someone did though. Probably got shot down. Anyway.
Oh dear, poor old things. Honestly. Right, Nev, you have got the next part of the show. Obviously, it's a firm favourite of a definite few people in the chat room currently.
It is. It's the Retro Airline Ad of the Week segment. And this week, we head back to the 1970s with two adverts from American Airlines where the love was all around.
Look how easy it is to save money with American Airlines Super Fares. Save 40% round trip to anywhere we fly in the continental United States. Or save up to 50% on round trip night coach flights. Up to 50% off with American Airlines Super Fares.
We're American Airlines, doing what we do best.
And helping you save money is one of the things we do best.
Oh, there's supposed to be two there. Oh, well. There we go. One American Airlines ad for you. It should have played two, honestly. I'm going to have to get you back and have a look at this, Matt. There's something with this.
Yeah.
It won't play two off the bat.
Yep.
But, discounts there. Cheap fares. But I'll tell you what, out of all the liveries, I still maintain that American Airlines had probably one of the best liveries back in the 80s there, with the polished aluminium fuselage, or aluminum if you're in the US.
Ooh.
It's not a word.
No. I don't know what you said there, but it is incorrect.
Yeah, imagine getting that sort of
all the right letters were there, but I don't recognise that terminology. I'm sorry.
Imagine getting that discount now on your airfare, 40 or 50% off.
God. Well, I don't know. I mean, I think it's called Ryanair now, isn't it?
It could possibly, yeah.
Yeah. There was something quite iconic about, as you say, like the polished sort of like aluminium style of them, where it looked pretty. I mean, it's like you can get like the American campers and stuff, can't you, as well, where they've got that same sort of polished metal and stuff. They do look quite cool. I wonder why they moved away from it. Is it just because of the cost, I guess?
Plastic aeroplanes now, when they got their 787s, you can't polish them because they're not metal.
Because they're not metal. Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
So that's why they went to the grey livery.
Makes sense.
Here we go. I've found it. I'm going to bung it on just so we can see it, because I didn't want to. I've got the two adverts. I was really getting excited about watching the two, so I'm going to play it anyway. So here we go. Here's the second advert.
Fly Braniff. Fly Easter.
Every airline would like to be your number one choice.
Fly TWA.
But when the Airline Passengers Association surveyed frequent flyers, they named the number one choice for domestic travel.
United.
The number one airline is American, and the number one reason is service.
Fly American, and let us show you what we do best.
We're American Airlines, doing what we do best.
There you go. With the 727 at the end of the advert there. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. Hey.
That sounds 77. That sounds very old.
It is. Yeah, but it's one of those aircraft that Boeing made that there's still, I think there's still some in revenue passenger service, I think.
Oh, really?
Sure there is.
Definitely cargo.
Definitely cargo, yeah.
Sucre, yeah, but I don't think there's any passenger ones left.
Yeah. Right, now it's time for Nev. Do you want to introduce your favourite part of the show?
Yes, it's one of my favourite parts of the show. Not the favouriteest part, but one of them. It's the military section.
What's up, bogeys 13550, Angel 16, heading 340. Okay. 100 bogeys.
Right, so our first story this week comes from the vintageaviationnews.com. Battle of Britain Memorial flight. Let me just change. There we go. God, I don't know how you do all this on your own, Matt. It's a nightmare. Battle of Britain Memorial flight Dakota Zulu Alpha 947 returns to RAF Coningsby after major maintenance. So the Battle of Britain Memorial Flights Dakota returned to its home at Coningsby on the 29th of August following a 3-year major maintenance programme at Duxford. The extensive restoration had exceeded its original schedule due to the significant amount of emergent work that required and to ensure the 82-year-old aircraft remained airworthy for the years ahead. 947 took to the skies that afternoon for its first flight in more than 3 years during a post-maintenance test from Duxford. The flight was piloted by Flight Lieutenant Sebastian Davey with Squadron Leader Paul Ernie Wise in the co-pilot seat, Flight Lieutenant Neil Whitehead as navigator, and Master Air Crewman Andy Wellham-Jones serving as Air Load Master. Following a successful air test, the Dakota returned to Duxford for mandatory post-flight inspections before embarking on its journey back to Coningsby. During the return flight, the crew practiced several circuits and touch-and-go landings on Coningsby's runway before taxiing the BBMF hangar, marking the aircraft's full return to its operational home. The Dakota will now be available for flying operations during the 2025-26 winter period, supporting aircrew training. In addition, 947 will be on display in the BBMF hangar for visitors, now bearing the historic markings of 31 Squadron South, preserving the legacy of this iconic aircraft for both enthusiasts and the general public. Now, I'm lucky enough to have seen this up close and personal a few years ago at Duxford, and it's a stunning aircraft to see up close, and it's one of those on my bucket list of military aircraft I would love to have a flight in, that's for sure. Don't know whether you've seen this before, Nev, at the air shows. It's
Yes, no, very much so.
Quite an iconic aircraft, but 3 years, that's a heck of a maintenance for an aircraft, isn't it, Nev? 3 years.
Well, parts availability, and the people to fit them, the skill sets.
And much like any old person or thing, when you start opening it up, you find a lot more wrong with it.
But it's good to see this back in service. I know they had a few issues with the Lancaster this year. I know they had a few issues with that, but it's good to have the whole flight hopefully back next year for the summer season, all being well. But I think there is still an air show at Duxford. I think there's one more air show to come at Duxford. We're in September, aren't we? October, aren't we? Yeah, I think is there one more air show? I can't remember. I think there's one more, the winter air show, to come at Duxford before the shutdown. But we all thought that the Airbus A380 was an ugly aircraft, but Andy, there's a military jet that's also big and slightly ugly.
Yes, this is from TWZ.com. It's a giant WindRunner cargo jet concept shown off to the USAF. A Colorado company displayed at the Air and Space Force Association's annual conference this week a model of a new very heavy lift cargo jet it is designing. Though still in aspirational phase, Radia's WindRunner concept comes at a time when the future of heavy lift cargo capabilities is in question, including within the US military, as it looks to eventually replace its fleet of aging C-5M Galaxy and C-17A Globemaster III transports. Globally, the ability to move very large, outsized loads over long distances by air has also has something of an expiration date, without any clear replacement for existing aircraft waiting in the wings. So while by all accounts Radia's dream may be a big long shot, it's certainly worth examining. The four-engined WindRunner, far bigger in size than either of the two US Air Force's airlifters, was originally designed to carry 300-foot-long wind turbine blades. In other words, it originated with the goal of offering a transport solution to commercial customers. However, Radia claims that when it's built, it could be an attractive airframe for moving tanks, helicopters, collaborative combat aircraft, CCAs, and other large war material to austere locations, as well as rocket boosters and other outsized loads. As interest grew and development progressed, WindRunner's unprecedented volume similarly appeals to the defence, aerospace and commercial cargo sectors, company spokesperson Grace O'Connor told The War Zone. The C-17A, which first entered service in 1995, has a maximum payload capacity of some 82 tonnes. The much larger C-5, which has been around since the 70s, is now in its enhanced C-5M configuration and can carry up to 140 tonnes. What's arguably more important than just the raw weight it can lift, the C-5 can carry far larger items than the C-17. Capable of being refueled in flight to extend their range, neither this aircraft nor the C-17 is currently in production. By comparisons, Radia states that the 356-foot-long WindRunner, first conceived in 2016, will be able to deliver 72.6 tonnes of cargo. However, payload weight only tells a small part of the story, the company suggests. It claims that the WindRunner, with some 270,000 cubic feet of cargo space, delivers 7 times the volume of the C-5 and 12 times the volume of the C-17. And among other cargo, Radia says WindRunner can carry 6 ready-to-fly Chinook C-47 helicopters. The placement of the cockpit in a bulge above the cargo hold offers more vertical space to roll items into its very long hold. Now, I didn't see the pictures, so I should probably click on that and have a look.
Yeah, they were on. They're off there now, but they were on there. It's it's like a kind of like a Galaxy, but like an oversized Galaxy, but if they can get 6 Chinooks in there, like Darren says in the chat room, they're going to be doing quite well. Yeah. I think they need to fast track the AN225 and get that back flying again, but I don't think that's going to be coming anytime soon.
Fast track, that's not coming back.
Do you think it'll never come back, Andy?
Not until there's stability in that part of the world.
Yeah,
and then many, many years after that.
Right. Sorry, Dave has just joined me on my lap here. He was attacking the muff earlier, which is just as well I had the volume down, or the fader down. Right. Nev, do you want to take up the next part of the show? We've got the third part, haven't we, Nev, of this awesome series?
Yes, well, you might have hopefully seen or heard the Alan Munro interviews that we've been doing over the last few weeks. And this is part 3. And in this episode, Nick talks with Alan about his posting to the CFS, the Central Flying School. And as he reports, this may have not been his best career move. However, he feels that there was a subconscious reason behind that decision, which he explains to Nick here.
We have. Now, when it came time for you to move on, you chose to volunteer for Central Flying School as a flying instructor. What on earth motivated you to do
Carlos?
that?
Something I'd always wanted to do.
Why have we not got the pictures on here,
I can't explain it.
So
It
we can
was
see what's
madness.
happening.
But I didn't know that. I didn't realise people had to be coerced with a shotgun to go to CFS.
Well, yes.
I thought it was a really special place to be, but it might have been subconsciously because of my father.
Ah.
Well, he killed himself as a QFI.
Oh, right. I didn't know.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Well, I'll tell you the tale for what it's worth, that he was instructing on the Miles Master.
Yeah.
A lot of Polish students, massive intensity. And their big breakout was Wings for Victory, when a town would be selected and the good ladies would go around with the collecting tin saying, let's buy a Spitfire. And he drew Bangor in North Wales, and all he had to do was beat shit out of the town for half an hour in this Miles Master and roar up and down the high street. And what they reckoned after was that the master had a modification put in because so many were tipping up on their nose that if it was upside down with the gear down, then the generator would earth and the fuel would cut off and the fire extinguisher would go off. And they reckoned that he probably had a cracked door, which you wouldn't see because of the sun azimuth. And he did a slow roll down Barmouth High Street and everything cut. And he went straight into the beach, bang.
Oh, Lord.
So I don't know whether that was a driver, but I suppose subconsciously it might have been.
Oh, yeah. So you, despite having to fly the JP, you actually seemed to enjoy that tour. There were
well, I realised after I'd been to Little Rissington that then it was like a Jesuit priesthood. and you were really, really privileged to be a QFI. And you realised that you'd had this hard discipline, and you now knew an awful lot about flying, and still an awful lot to find out. But you were special. You'd done the Little Rissington flying course, and it's been diluted ever since. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure. Absolutely. 1968 saw another series of cuts to our military strength. This led to your ground tour at the apprentice school in Hereford. Now, that's where they trained all the chefs. So, other than telling me that the food...
And logistics and clerks.
Other than telling me the food was good, how did that...
Well, no, it wasn't, you see, because
really?
the one guy I felt sorry for was the station catering officer, because there was something like 7 catering officers, can you believe?
Good Lord.
And all involved with training chefs.
Yeah.
And the poor old station caterer had exactly the same resource as any other station caterer, and yet he was expected to produce miracles. and he was the one guy I felt really sorry for. We didn't have dining outs, we had lunch outs, and this was part of steward training. And you knew you had a steward under training because you could hear the gravy boat rattling as he came down. Yeah, gravy, sir. No, thank you.
Oh, excellent. So how long did you have to do that job?
2 years.
2 years. And what were you actually involved with? Looking after the apprentices?
I was flight commander for the apprentices. Ah. Now, the only redeeming feature was these poor little boys actually needed you. And the admin apprentices were the bottom of the stack. And some of them were lovely kids, but from terrible backgrounds. And I remember this little bruiser from Glasgow. He'd just been to stores and he'd come back with armfuls of kit. And he was sitting on his bed in floods of tears. And my sergeant said, "What's the matter?" And nobody had ever given him anything his entire life. And here the Air Force had dumped all this kit on him. It's all yours, don't want it back. And he couldn't believe it. Now, that sort of kid we could turn into a really good airman. Now, there were others who, I remember one boy was terrified of his father. And he kept chopping himself. And we said, no, you're going to be fine. And eventually his father and mother came to see us, and his father was an RSM in the Grenadier Guards.
Oh, good Lord.
And so, well, I knew what his problem was within 10 seconds of the parents coming in.
Oh, dear.
How do you explain to the RSM of the Grenadier Guards that he's his son's problem? That's how the human interest side made the whole thing just tolerable.
I quite understand you must have been champing at the bit to get back to a flying task, but it was really daunting because the Air Force was shrinking around you. But the posting gods seem to have looked down on you very favourably and managed to get you out, and you ended up flying the Harrier. How on earth did
because
that
they
happen?
posted me to Lightnings again. And at this stage, there was just me and a wing commander navigator who was my boss. And we were the only aircrew there. And I said to him, look, I've got to come clean with you. I can't fit in a Lightning. What am I going to do? And he said, well, the first thing you've got to do is get off the training command books. Because if you spill the beans now, you'll get another posting inside training command. He said, get onto the strike command books. That's the first thing. So I let this doctor at Chivenor discover my long legs and said, you can't fly the Lightning. And oh dear, what do you want to fly? Phantom. And it was just the time of the Spey engines collapsing. And Phantom OCU was closed. And a Harrier turned up outside. And I was talking to the pilot, and I said, is there loads of room in a Harrier? Oh, stacks of room. And I said, right, can I fly Harriers, please? Yes, you can. But it all went wrong because I was on the squadron that did the short courses, so I never, ever got any proper ground attack training. And that was a real problem when I got on the Harrier OCU, when they discovered I didn't know how to read a 1-inch map. I'd never been taught. And I was struggling because I was at an all-time low from Hereford. I actually got diagnosed with severe depression at one point. Oh. And the doc said, if you got a flying posting right now, do you think your depression would go away? And I said, of course it would. He said, well, look, stick with it and come and see me as often as you need. Oh. What a sensible doctor.
Absolutely. Yeah.
He was a little Welsh civilian practitioner. Oh. Yeah.
Salt of the earth.
It was not a good time.
Wasn't a good time. I just saying in the chat room, I miss the Harrier. I think it's one of those aircraft that
such an iconic aircraft.
I miss seeing at the air, especially at the air shows. Yeah. Even when they do descend into the North Sea off Lowestoft seafront, but miss the Harrier. I think we sold all ours to Spain, if I remember rightly. I think Jonathan Warner will probably know in the chat room, but I'm pretty sure that we sold all our Harriers to Spain.
But Nev, thanks to you and Nick for it's such a brilliant series. Yeah, and Alan is so open, and I say his memory is extremely sharp, and that really helps too. But we've got a few more of these to play out over the coming weeks as well. So hope you continue to enjoy them. But I've certainly been enjoying reliving some of those memories with John as well, with Alan rather. But absolutely fascinating.
Yeah, thanks again, Nev, for taking time out, obviously with Nick, to go and to do the series. How many more have we got left, Nev?
Oh, I think another 3, probably. Yeah.
Oh, good. Excellent. And then I think, Nev, your plan is you're going to pop these on to YouTube as well as a series.
Yes, I will. Yeah, we'll do a playlist on YouTube when we've played them all out, so they'll be there for everyone to see in the future.
Excellent. Right, let's have a look at the socials. Showing Nev, where can people find out more about us online as we start to wrap up this evening?
Yes, so Facebook, X or Instagram is your place to go. And just search the social medias for Plain Talking UK. You can email the show, podcast@plaintalkinguk.com, and our WhatsApp number, +44 7446 975 214. And you can subscribe to our YouTube channel too. Make sure you you'll be able to get notifications when we go live, and don't forget to click the thumbs up like button as well. And you can help to shape the conversation of the show by joining us in the chat room, as so many people have done this evening. And you can just go to youtube.com and search for Plain Talking UK for that. You can also become a patron of the show, but just by going to the Plain Talking UK website. All the details for contributions are on there.
Awesome. Thanks, Nev. Let's have a quick round robin then before we wrap up tonight, see what everyone is up to in the coming week. We'll start with you, Andy, because you are always busy, and you're away next week, aren't you?
Always busy, yes. Next week I am in Scotland at a meeting, so I will not be here, unfortunately, because it's on Wednesday afternoon, and then there's a social event on the Wednesday evening.
Another one. Unbelievable.
From a man who never went to any social events at work, that's Neville Bounds there. But then I will be back the week after.
Excellent. And hopefully the week after, we are going to be joined by a guest on the show on the 18th, no, 15th, Nev. I keep getting 15th, it wrong. Yes. 15th, yeah. Fingers crossed. But more news on that probably next week. Nev, what are you up to next week? Anything exciting?
Basically, I've just rescheduled all the things I was supposed to be doing this week, which are now next week. So things like the flu jab, for example, on Friday. Now.
Oh, exciting.
Very, very exciting, isn't it? And then bits and pieces of meetings next week with my pension provider, who will no doubt tell me that, the money's running out quicker than he thought. But would I like to pay him a commission for him to tell me that? So.
Is it one of those where you could afford to retire when you're 91 and live very comfortably for a whole week? Is it one of those? Yeah.
Oh no! Oh well, sounds interesting, Nev. But obviously, you've been a bit unwell along with Mrs. Nev.
Yes, I'm going to take another day or so to recover fully. I have to say, because we're still not firing on all cylinders yet. But hopefully, by the end of the week, we should be all a bit better. So yeah,
fingers crossed.
Busy week for Mr. Smith. I know it is a busy week for you, because I know.
Yeah. It's very manic for lots of reasons. As I say, it's all happening at once here. That the only saving grace is that I get to sort of come out of the loop a bit for a week. So I'm also going to be missing for a couple of weeks, sadly, because I'm going to the Isle of Wight. Yeah, you're going to the Isle of Wight, which in some respects has come at a good time, because obviously I'll be able to sort of make sure Mum's having a good recovery. A little bit nervous about the journey, obviously, but we're going to sort of have lots of breaks and things to make sure she's okay.
I know Richard Adams in the chat room, Matt, said he wanted to kind of touch base with you about when you're going to be out there.
Yes. I have a message from him, and I will be, as soon as I get a chance to chat, when she's awake enough, long enough for me to be able to have a conversation with her about it, then we'll hopefully be able to pencil in sort of meeting for dinner one evening, which will be lovely. But yeah, so off to the Isle of Wight. I leave on Saturday as soon as I finish the radio, basically, and heading off there. Looking forward to it. Actually, it's actually quite a nice drive. And I think I said it made me laugh out loud, because you pull up at the ferry terminal and you think, let's plumb in where we're driving to, where we're staying and stuff. And it's like saying, and it was only 8 miles to when we got there. And then when I looked at it more closely, the 8 miles included the ferry crossing. So it's just like, oh, nice. We like that. So yeah, looking forward to that. And then it's as Carlos knows, it's full steam ahead. The walls have gone up today on the pod that's going into our new home. I'm in the old home at the moment of Park Radio, so
looking forward to that.
Yeah, James's plans look absolutely fantastic. So with all the sexy LED lighting and stuff. So hopefully, basically I've got to build a couple of studios the minute I come back. So yes, unfortunately I'll be missing for a couple of weeks.
Sounds exciting.
It's exciting and also terrifying at the same time, as I'm sure Nev can fully appreciate. It's one thing to discuss at great length the plan for doing an AV install. It's totally another thing to put it all together and make it work. So, and unfortunately I don't have access to experts to be able to assist me in the event of a problem. That's one of the disadvantages, I suppose, of a sort of community project here where there's basically no money to do it. You've got to try and work it all out yourself. So, yeah,
You'll get there
absolutely. Yeah, I hope so.
Going to say a big thank you to all the chat room for joining us this evening in there. All the usual family members in there joining us tonight. Thank you very much indeed for everyone in there for tuning in on this Wednesday night. It's the 1st of October, our first episode of October, which is awesome. And as we said, hopefully we'll be back next Wednesday with another show. And then, like I said, in a few weeks' time, few shows' time, we are looking forward to, hopefully, fingers crossed, having a young chap on the show who has his very own Airbus 320 training sim just up the road from us here. So he's going to be joining us on the show to chat about that and his career in the airlines as well, flying not only Airbus, also Boeing as well, aircraft. So yeah, that should be fun in a few weeks' time. But that is it for the show. Thanks for tuning in. So from Nev in his home studio, I'm going to hand things over to you to take us out on this show.
Yeah, thanks everybody for joining us this evening. Really enjoyed your contributions and the comedy that is the chat room. As Carlos says, we're back next week at 7 o'clock UK time. Thanks to Andy and Matt as well. Brilliant contributions. Thanks, Andy. And we'll see you next week. Same time. Bye for now.
So I'm just laughing at Darren Smith comment in the chat room. He says this is like a movie where you wait until after the titles for a bit more.
I mean, that's an option.
I went to see Spinal Tap yesterday.
Oh, any good?
Yes, it's just as good as the first in my. Well, you can never beat the original. You can never beat the original, but it was good. But all of the credits were just played over the top of all the extra bits. It was brilliant.
Yeah, I love that.
And Elton John and Paul McCartney in it are brilliant as well.
Oh, I knew about Elton John. I didn't know about Paul McCartney.
Yeah.
Wow.
Macca's there.
Yeah.
Blimey.
Good. Well, I'm pleased it's good because I mean it was such an iconic first film, wasn't it? It's I'm glad it's got the Andy seal of approval. I might risk a watch now.
I did enjoy myself. And I had the cinema to myself as well, which was even better.
Oh, it doesn't bode well for ratings, does it?
Was that a full IMAX experience?
It wasn't a Saturday afternoon or a Friday evening or anything like that.
Oh, okay, all right, fair enough. Yeah.
Tanya's in a chat room, so she's looking forward to it. Saw the first one in the theatre when it first came out. Darren Smith's asking, what's the new Tron like? Is there a new Tron film out? As in the old, like, was it the early 80s, mid 80s? Tron came out.
Yeah, I'm sure they did one, didn't they? Because Harrison wasn't. No, what was it? That's the one with Harrison Ford in, isn't it?
Oh, Google it.
Or am I thinking of something else?
You're thinking of Blade Runner.
Am I? Okay, yeah, fair enough. I'm sure there was one that he was. Yeah.
Tron Legacy. Oh, there was one back in 2010.
Oh.
Tron Legacy.
Okay.
The chat room will soon pipe
That's,
up anyway. You know what
that's 15 years ago now.
It's a long while ago, isn't it? Yeah. No, for sure, yeah.
I know. Where's the time going, eh?
Well,
I can't believe you and I are 50 next year, Carlos. Just
that's
saying.
Scary.
It is very scary.
You're 50?
Yeah.
Oh, Andy, I know you're only 2.
You old man.
Careful.
Yeah, Andy's the baby of the group.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm only 40.
Oh, never mind.
It's great.
It's got to be. Yeah, that's good. No,
that's good. By the time I get to your age, I'll only have to work 5 more years. I'll do me.
Oh, okay.
Well, talking of films, if you are
sort of
a
films?
subscriber to Netflix, have a look at a film called Blackberry. It's all about the rise and fall of Blackberry. It was really interesting and really.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't think I would like it to begin with, but it was very well made. Actually,
is it like is it a film or is it like a docu-film type sort of thing?
More of a docu-film, I suppose. But yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, I saw that one because that was made by Apple originally. I saw it first on Apple TV and I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah.
I'll have a look
I
at
didn't
that.
even know that was there. I'm just looking at it now.
Have you seen Tetris as well? Because Tetris is brilliant.
Tetris?
About the making of Tetris.
Oh,
and how
okay.
It all came to be. It's got the fellow who played Elton John, Taggerton in it. It's Taggerton.
Oh,
I would say
Taron Egerton.
Egerton, that's it.
Yeah.
It's a brilliant film. That is. It's really good.
I'm gonna be really sad now and say so. I've been watching some stuff as well. Actually, weirdly, I've been watching it on the ITVX player purely and simply because ITV is celebrating their 70th birthday at the moment, and they've got a lot of classic series on there. So I was watching like sort of Tommy Cooper, and there's an absolutely brilliant. If you love your sort of like old school comedy, it was Bruce Forsyth, believe it or not, who I'm not normally a fan of, but it was brilliant. That's the one. And Norman Wisdom, and it was a Sunday night at the London Palladium, and it was still in black and white and everything, and it was absolutely brilliant. Absolutely love that. But the series that I finished watching today was series 13 of The Krypton Factor. I'd forgotten how awesome that is.
Amazing telly.
It was incredible telly. I don't know why they don't make it now, because I think it was so good.
Did they reboot it? I can't remember.
They probably did.
But the original one where it was either Land and the Sea King simulator on the carrier deck or the British Midland 737.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Well, the one that each set of one was the Sea Harrier. The final was where they were flying the Challenger space rocket, so they went out to California or wherever it was. The shuttle to land that. But yeah, there was they were flying. One of them was trying to land the Red Arrows little plane. One was the first set of heats, the 4 heats, was to land the Concorde in a simulator and stuff.
They played
there.
on some fun simulators, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. Yeah. It was 1989. This particular, was it 89 or 87? That particular series. I want to say 89. But yeah, it was absolutely fantastic.
That's
really good.
737.
But yeah,
and of course with the sea
I do love me.
There's not much margin for error on the Hong Kong approach.
He's not doing bad there, to be honest.
He's gone a bit.
It's normally in the last 50 feet where it goes awry.
And the horizontal bar on the flight director dropped, so he should follow it.
And the wonderful
on the control column.
Gordon Byrne, wasn't it? He was the commentator on that one. Didn't he do
sound on the flight deck? Crash. Very bad luck.
Did he do local news near you, Nev? for a while.
He did Manchester, I think.
Oh, Manchester,
yeah.
He was.
And originally he was from Northern Ireland.
Yeah.
Did a lot of the stuff over in Belfast.
Yeah. He was a brilliant presenter, I thought. I mean, I mean, I guess it's a program of its time when you've got, like, you know, ITV have done similar things, I suppose, with the agility challenges and stuff. I just thought it was a really good quiz, you know, and you had to anyway, that's what I've been doing. I've been enjoying that.
I used to love watching it as a kid. I thought it was brilliant.
Every Monday night. It was always on a Monday night. Yep. Yeah, without fail.
You must have been in your 20s when I was watching it then.
Oh, right. Oh, jeez. Right. Shall we let these lovely people get back to their evenings?
Let's get these lovely people.
I need to go home and check on Mother and make sure she hasn't fallen down the stairs or something.
Right. Thanks again to everyone for tuning in this evening. You've been awesome. And if you've got access to ITV Player, then get yourselves over there and watch some Krypton Factor.
Oh, cracking series. Cracking series.
But that's it for tonight. Well, they can let you all go. Nev, do you want to just say goodbye to everyone and we'll disappear?
Yeah, thanks everybody for joining. Been a lot of fun as always. Hope you all have a nice weekend and the rest of the week. We'll see you next Wednesday, 7 o'clock UK time. In the meantime, bye for now.